Assalamualaikum and welcome everyone here. This session is about financial literacy and scam, and it's organized by Malayali Muslim Association of Canada, or MMAC. So this event is funded by the Government of Canada, and we appreciate that. And I will be your host for this event. My name is Cheryl. I know it's a Saturday morning. Thank you to everyone who's here today, and we hope to provide you with some valuable information and time-relevant information and make the session well worth your time. So I'll now take this opportunity to hand it over to Amina, and she is our current BOD member, and she will be introducing MMAC. So Amina, please take it away.
Assalamualaikum and a very warm good morning, everyone. So my name is Amina Shabin, and as Cheryl mentioned, I sit on the board for Malayali Muslim Association of Canada, or MMAC as we like to call it. And again, I just wanted to extend a very warm and hearty welcome to all of you who are here on a bright Saturday morning, or at least it's pretty bright where I'm here in Burlington. And obviously special shout out and thank you to our speaker, Elizabeth Naumovski, for joining us. And of course, all of you for being here again on a Saturday morning. That is something that we really need to stress. And as Cheryl mentioned, I'll be doing a quick introduction of MMAC. So MMAC, or the Malayali Muslim Association of Canada, is a community building organization. We predominantly cater to the Malayali Muslim diaspora living, working, studying in Canada. But a lot of we make a conscious effort to make our programming, events, and campaigns inclusive to wider communities as well, and try to get engagement from wider communities as well. And we offer programming that is of spiritual, social, cultural, as well as educational significance. And this one would be an example of one of the awareness or educational programs that we host. And as Cheryl briefly mentioned, specifically speaking of this event, it's made possible due to a generous grant from the Government of Canada through the New Horizons Senior Program Initiative. So as you may have seen, if not, I'll let you know, we've been having a variety of events as a series under this grant program. We recently had a session on wills. Another one that I can remember was on a faith-sensitive funeral services and information session on that, as well as various support services that are available. And what makes this webinar series special is that we come at it from a lens of catering to like visible minority communities as well as seniors, to groups that are often not given enough attention in a lot of spaces. So we're really hoping these programs continue to benefit people, and we will be having more in the future. I believe this one is a start of the financial series. There's going to be more on retirement planning, financial planning, so on and so forth. So definitely stay tuned. And I'm really excited for this event because thinking about it, I don't know what comes to your mind, but when I hear financial scam, I think of those calls that I get telling me that I owe the CRA $10,000, or another one that I get from folks who, not from the CRA, folks who claim to be the CRA, or folks claiming to be the Canada Border Services Agency telling me that I have a whatever weird parcel in my name and I'm going to get arrested soon kind of thing. But Elizabeth is here with us, and I'm sure she can tell us of more ways in which scams happen that we don't even think of. So I'm really looking forward to this. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Amina, for that wonderful and hearty introduction about MMAC. So now we can actually move on to the meat of our event, which is understanding the concept of financial literacy and scams. So for this, we have our speaker, Elizabeth Naumovski, here today. She has worked on the Bay Street for over 20 years and is a well-respected financial literacy advocate. She's also the host of Finance is Personal, a half-hour show on financial literacy, which can be found on YouTube. And now I'm just going to let her introduce herself as well. So take it away, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Amina and Cheryl. I really appreciate your wonderful introduction, and kudos to you guys for putting this together. And you are 100% correct. You know, having work and giving back to your diaspora is really, really important. I am a part of the Macedonian diaspora because my parents were immigrants and they came to Canada in 1962. And throughout, I have been involved in helping our diaspora as well. And I think the job that you guys are doing is really important and really, really good. So let's begin. Let me just go to my screen sharing here. Okay, so there we go. Scams and fraudsters. Like, do you know the red flags? And this is very, very important. As the lady said, my name's Elizabeth Naumovski, and I am an award-winning financial literacy advocate. I have been doing financial literacy for about 20 plus years now. And it's very important for me to give back. I want to give back not only to my diaspora, but to the community as well, because I feel that being a good Canadian is helping others, and whether it's through kindness or information, because we all want to help each other. That's what Canada is all about. I'm very passionate about helping people as well with their financial literacy and, of course, fraud and scam awareness. As I had said earlier, my parents were immigrants. They came from Macedonia. When they came they had been married a few months. So they met. The next day they were engaged. The next month they were married, and then they embarked on their new adventure to Canada. They came here with $120 in a suitcase. They didn't speak the language. They had no family. They didn't know anyone. They barely knew each other, actually. So this is probably one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about helping other Canadians as well, because I know the struggles that my parents went through, and I know, the hardships that they went through as well. Okay, fraud, scams, awareness. Why? So since the COVID lockdowns, we have been inundated with different types of scams and frauds. And the thing is, people are distracted. Everyone was working from home. So all of a sudden, for the first time ever, people are locked down. We've never gone through this before. And people are not only working from home, they're functioning from home, they're going to school from home, they're becoming a family from home. Because remember, most people were at work 8 hours a day with an hour commute each way. So out of your whole day, you were out of the house 10 hours a day, but now you're there 24/7. And the problem with that is, a lot of people talk about multitasking when they were at home, but when you're multitasking, you're also distracted. You're doing a Zoom school, you're doing a Zoom video conference call at work. Okay, I have an hour in between. I'm going to run downstairs. I'm going to do my laundry. Okay, I've got to do this. I've got to homeschool my child. So there's so much going on that we're not really focusing on anything that we really, really need to. So we're distracted. And just so everyone understands, if you are very, very smart, it doesn't matter, because scammers will get you regardless. Scammers will catch you at that time when you're distracted and you're not thinking well. And you have to remember as well, all scams are affair of the heart, whether it's a romance scam, whether it's financial, right? And the other thing too is, when you look at scams, what are the key things here? Number one, they want you to act quickly. You have to act very, very fast. Make a decision now, make it happen now, or don't tell anyone. This is exclusive just for you and me. Don't tell your husband, your wife, your friend, don't tell anybody, because I'm going to help you advance. So those are the two key things that you really have to look for. Now, the other thing too is, everyone wants immediate gratification. How many of you buy something on Amazon and think, oh my gosh, I'm getting it tomorrow? So now all of a sudden during lockdowns, we expect everything to happen right away, right? And life isn't like that. When you buy something, when you spend your money, it could be like that. But the reality of life is, instant gratification doesn't get you anywhere. It just causes more stress, probably, helps you get into debt. and it's not an easy thing to go through in life. And, you know, the other key thing is scammers are focusing on immigrants and seniors. A lot of the seniors were locked down in their home by themselves because they were afraid to walk around during COVID. So what a great time it is to call them up and try to get information from them. And the same thing as immigrants. And why not? Immigrants, you know, Canada was built upon immigrants. They all come from different countries. They all speak different languages. So, you know, like my parents, my first language wasn't English. I learned Macedonian because that's all my parents knew. So why wouldn't a scammer focus on, you know, somebody like my parents? Because they didn't really speak the language and they didn't know proper English and they didn't understand, you know, proper punctuation or sentences. So these are two key reasons why scammers are focused on immigrants and seniors. So today we're going to focus on investment scams because they're very rampant right now. Romance scams, email phishing scams, and of course the CRA, pretend Canadian Border Services. And there's also a grandparent phone call that's out there as well. And so the other thing too, at the end, I'm going to talk about what do you have to do if you become a victim of fraud. I mean, everybody knows, stay away from this, stay away from that, and scammers are out there, but nobody really talks about what happens if you become a victim and what your steps are. So if you look at fraudsters right now, they're very, very, very creative. We're going to focus on investment scams because everybody right now is being inundated with cryptocurrencies and high returns. And not only do you get high returns, but they are, you'll never lose your money. They're 100% protected, which doesn't exist. It doesn't occur. When you are investing, you're investing for the long haul. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And in the investment industry, they cannot actually guarantee you returns. They cannot say that if you invest in this, you will get 15% return or you will get 20% return. You're not allowed to do that in the industry. So what are we looking at right now? Scammers got really, really creative during the summer, and they started stealing legitimate financial logos of mutual funds, of brokerages, of financial planning places, and creating their own cryptocurrency get-rich-quick websites. So I have a copy of a website that I'm going to go through and tell you what the red flags are. So here's an example of one. First of all, if you are dealing with a Canadian company, they have a head office. They have a phone number. You call the phone number. One of the red flags here on this screen is text on WhatsApp, Telegram. How do you know who you're contacting? WhatsApp, Telegram, that's not part of the financial industry. So that's the first red flag right there. They have pricing. You're not buying anything. Why is there pricing on this website? And why are they, you know, there's a cryptocurrency on there as well. So this is what one of the fraudulent websites looked like. They also use, you know, intelligent plan for your money. What does that mean? What's an intelligent plan? They use a lot of really weird words so that you're actually a little confused and it's hard for you to focus and see what exactly is happening here. And it says, put your investing ideas into action with a full range investments, typo, then there's a period and no space, enjoy real benefits and rewards. Well, whose ideas are you putting into action? So look at all the things that you see here on this fraudulent page. So they talk about who we are, and you know, they'll say a leading independent investment management firm providing innovative solutions to me. This is all wonderful wording, but there's also a lot of stuff that's just thrown in together. Towards the bottom, you can see it says for 16 weeks, there's no space there. There's some typos. We innovate systemically, continuously, and successfully. What does that mean? Right? Just look at it and try to absorb what they're trying to say. So we were always thinking global. Well, you're dealing with a Canadian firm. Who cares whether they're thinking global or not? I mean, what are you investing in right now? Where is your money going? What is happening with your money? And then it starts with, simply put, we bets. Well, nobody bets in the investment industry. You're not going to Las Vegas here. You want to invest your money properly. So I'm not going to sit there and read these pages because there's so many of them. I'm just going to go through them and point out a few things. But even in the first line, simply put, comma, the we's capitalized, bets. Nobody speaks like that in the investment industry. So how it works, 3 ways to start. You register an account. Typically you open an account, make a deposit, and you receive earnings. Well, when you invest, you don't receive earnings. It's the returns that you get. So they're using a lot of different investment words to confuse the person. You talk about a starter plan. When you're investing, you take your money, your hard-earned money, and you go to an investment firm and you say, this is my risk tolerance. This is what I'm happy with. This is how much debt I have. This is how much money I have in the bank. This is how much money I make. And I'd like to use this investment for my future. In 10 years, I'd like to purchase a house, or whatever. In 3 years, I'd like to buy a car. There's a thought process to it. None of this starter plan, 2.5% daily. Investing, you don't get daily returns. It's not a bank account. Amateur plan, 4% daily. Professional plan, 7% daily. When you're investing, you don't know what your daily returns are going to be. The stock market fluctuates. It goes up, it goes down. So you may be up 3% one day and down 7% the other day. That's what the stock market is about. There are no daily returns that you're going to get. That's not what investing is all about. Then they have a master plan, 10% daily, and the gold plan, 15% daily. But look at what it says. For the 15% daily, these scammers want you to put a minimum deposit of $50,000 to a maximum of $300,000. Now, what are they asking you to pay in? They're asking you to pay with your credit card or PayPal. Investment firms do not accept credit cards or PayPal because that'll put you into debt. If you have money to invest, you use your money. You can transfer it from your bank account, you can e-transfer it, or you can go in with a physical check and give it to them. So that's the difference here. These are all red flags. Who's going to give you 15% daily return when you look at what's happening right now in the marketplace? If you look at bonds, they are 1%, 0.5%. I don't even know what they are right now, but nowhere near 15% daily. And the stock market doesn't do that either. So these are the red flags to look for. Also, it talks about a referral bonus. So if you refer your friend to go and put $50,000 on their credit card or $30,000 or whatever it is, you're supposed to get a bonus. That is more like a Ponzi scheme. Those are red flags because in the investment industry, you don't get bonuses for referring a friend. You get a thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that you think I'm doing a good job for you. So a lot of red flags just on this page here. Stable and profitable. Well, those are not words that are used in the investment industry. There's nothing stable about this. And when you're investing, you do want a return in the long run, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be stable if we're going through a rough patch and the stock markets are a little bit bumpy going up and down, right? So nobody talks about being profitable in the investment industry either. That's not something that we use. When you're looking at a company and people are looking at the earnings of the company, That's when they say or ask the question, is the company profitable? Is the company making money? But that has nothing to do with investing. More here talks about multi-currency. We are global and we trade on, stock exchange market, whatever. Look at all the jargon, look at all the stuff that they're using here. Referral program. There's no such thing as a referral program, right? So look at the interesting words that they use and start checking off. What's a red flag? What do I have to look out for? What is important here for me to understand? The investment industry, the stock market opens at 9:30 and it closes at 4 p.m. Unless you do the aftermarket. But those are the regular hours. So 24/7 customer support, it's a bit ridiculous, unless it's a really specialty type of corporation, which, call us on, XMR chat icon. Who are you speaking with? Who does that number go to? Because it's not going through switchboard at reception so that you can actually speak to a proper person who works in the fund industry or the investment industry. Again, the level 3 referral, that doesn't happen in real life. This whole thing about getting more money or promising higher returns because you invest more, that doesn't happen. You can invest $500 or $10,000 in the investment industry, and if you have purchased either a stock, a mutual fund, or an ETF, you're purchasing it at the same price. Whatever the price is for that day, it's the same for everybody. Has nothing to do with, putting in $30,000 more than someone else. And that's a red flag. Again, incorporated stable profit. I don't know what that means. Nobody can guarantee you returns in the investment industry. And it says guarantees you the stable and secured risk-free income at best of your selected investment package. First of all, that's not even a proper sentence. And second of all, they've thrown in so many words in there that you're thinking, oh, well, this is good. I see the word secured. I see risk-free. I see stable. That's got to be really good. But those are all red flags. Those words are not a part of the investment industry. Now look at these people, right? This is a fraudulent website. They have their top administrations. It should be their top administrators. Think big, comma, there's no space, start small. So right there, the first 2 sentences at the top, there's something wrong. And then they have a nice looking man here, a nice looking man here, a nice looking woman, and another guy hanging out. They've got all their names. So what do? Okay, so you look at this website. Why don't you do some due diligence and go to LinkedIn or go to Google and type in their names? So that's exactly what I did. I want to see who this CEO is. Who's the guy that's running this company? So I went to LinkedIn. Oh, no results found. There's no such person. So the next guy, Stefan Muth, I went to LinkedIn. It's not that guy. There are a couple of guys with that name, but they don't work for this company. And again, I went to go find Erica Shu Sato, no results found. So, when something looks too good to be true, it really isn't. And what you need to do is really do your research on anything. I mean, people research the type of dog that they want to buy. People research furniture that they want to purchase for their home. People research running shoes, right? Or even what iPhone or Samsung phone they want. You do your research when you buy stuff. Do your research when you're going to invest your money. And then you've got this testimonial from some guy in Australia, but you're dealing with a Canadian firm that only deals in Canada. So that's another red flag. So what are the red flags we have to look for? If you are getting guaranteed high returns, no risk, huge red flag. A lot of times they talk about offshore investments, invest in the Cayman Islands or invest in this island or invest in this island. It's tax-free. The only thing that's tax-free right now in Canada is your tax-free savings account. So when you invest in your tax-free savings account, your investment grows at it's a registered account and it grows at a tax-free rate. When you take your money out, you don't have to pay taxes. All of this offshore investment tax-free, that's another red flag. Your friends can't be wrong. Well, if you look at someone like Bernie Madoff in the United States that had all of his friends of friends come in, he only deals with high net people, but he'll take you in. Another red flag. Insider tips. There's no such thing as an insider tip. If you get an insider tip, you will go to jail because you're not supposed to know insider information. And when they say profit like the expert, more red flags, right? All of this information can be seen on the Canadian Securities Administrators website. And there are a lot of really wonderful websites for the investment industry that will help you if you stumble upon something and you're not sure. The other thing is, if you're not sure, Google the company, take a look and see where their standing is on Google, and call their head office and ask, does this website represent your firm? Or, do you do this at your firm? The other thing you should do, which is really important, is check out registration. If you are going to invest, especially if you're going to an investment firm and you're dealing with somebody one-on-one, it's easy to check and see whether they're registered, what their disciplinary history is. You can see when they wrote their exams. You can see if anyone's made complaints against them. So a whole bunch of information, but a lot of people don't know this. So the bottom line is, if you do not understand it and it seems complicated, don't invest. If it seems too good to be true, don't invest. It's really interesting how a lot of people will research certain topics or certain things, but when it comes to their investment, they hear high returns and they jump in because sometimes people have high debt and they're desperate for money. Sometimes people just are in a really bad space and think, if only I had this money, it would really help me. But it's not about the money, it's about spending habits, and it's about whatever your regular investment habits are. So, when you feel desperate or you feel, oh my gosh, I need some more, step back and take a look at your situation as a whole. The other thing is, there are two other places that you can look for: the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada, and the acronym for it is IIROC. That's where all the investment advisors across Canada are registered. So if you are dealing with somebody, you go to the IIROC website and they have 31,000 registered representatives, and you'll see the history of those people. And the other thing is the Ontario Securities Commission, they're also called the OSC. They are the governor for a lot of the fund companies in Canada. And both of these organizations have a lot of really good information on their website about, corporations to invest with, people that are registered, corporations that are registered. They're not going to tell you who to invest with, but they're going to tell you who's registered. And they have a lot of information on there to help you with red flags if you are thinking of investing, if you stumble upon something and you're not sure. Romance scams. So everybody wants to be loved, and especially during COVID. A lot happened during COVID and lockdowns. A lot of people's relationships got tighter, but there were a lot more divorces and a lot more relationships that fell apart because a lot of women, especially women, were locked in with their abusers. So because of this, a lot of women ended up leaving their relationships. But there's a lot of women that are also single that were sitting at home feeling lonely that really wanted to connect with somebody. And a lot of men as well. Like everybody feels lonely. So I actually interviewed these two women, Shelley Frost and Linda Young, and they wrote a book called Her King the Con. And what happened was Linda Young was newly divorced, and she went online, created her own profile, and said that she was divorced. She was a mother of two, and this is where she worked. She had a really good education, very smart lady. This is where she lived. And she became a huge, huge person that people could prey upon, the scammers could prey upon. And Linda thought that she had found her man, and she was in love. And she saw a picture of this gentleman who had a great body, and he was always taking pictures of himself at the gym, and doing selfies at the gym and showing his great abs and his arms and everything else. And she was in love with this image of the gentleman. And as time went by, she was getting more and more pulled in by this scammer, and he would write her and tell her how much he loved her. And the thing is, when somebody starts telling you how much they love you, it becomes very addictive, and you really want to hear that on a regular basis. But the thing with these scammers is you're not dealing with one person. You're actually dealing with maybe a team of 10, 15 guys constantly bombarding you with stuff. Now, the red flags that she found was, he said that he was American, she's American, and he was in Cuba building their love home for the future. And then he started asking her for money. Then he started asking her for iPhones and iPads. And he was saying that, in Cuba, when you're working with a lot of the construction workers, they need iPhones and iPads to be bribed so that they can do a better job for you. But the other key thing he did was he said to her, don't tell your family. This is between us. Our love is between us. So he alienated her from her family to the point that her sister, Shelley, hired a private investigator to figure out what was happening here. And at one point, you can actually go to my YouTube channel and watch the interview. I did 2 interviews with them and see all the stuff that they went through. But what happens with these scammers is they alienate you, and they make you think that you are only in love with them and it's just between the two of you. Those are red flags as well, because when you're in love with somebody, you want to share it with the world and you want to introduce them to everybody. So think about that. Poor Linda, she was scammed $150,000. She didn't have $150,000 in a bank account just sitting there, but she was in love and she was alienated. And in hindsight, she wanted to get back at the scammers. So what she did was, started talking about it on TV, on radio, and she and her sister wrote the book. And it's a really, really good book about their journey and how difficult it was for them. And they're wonderful women. The key too is she never met this gentleman. And every time he was talking about coming to meet her and the family, he came up with some excuse. His son was sick. He didn't have a visa to leave Cuba. There was always some sort of an excuse. So think about excuses. What kind of excuses are people giving you, especially if you are online? One of the things that they realized was that the photo that was being used for this romance scam was stolen from a gentleman's Instagram account. So they just kept taking from the guy's Instagram account. And the way they found out, Shelley, the sister, would see the same gym across the t-shirt. And when she actually called the gym, she realized that he was a gym owner and his whole profile had been stolen. So one of the things to remember too, when you're doing, online romance, and you put your name and your face and your photos and everything else, all your information on any of these romance apps, be wary about who you're talking to and make sure that you're not giving out a lot of your personal information. And that's actually the key with scammers. Do not give anyone your personal information. That's personal for you. And quite frankly, everyone who needs to know that personal information knows it. So, red flags with romance scams. What do you look for? Typically, they pose to be a doctor with an international organization. or they work in the military and they've been posted somewhere, or they work at an oil rig, excuse me, sorry, or they work at an oil rig in a third world country. And they profess their love very, very quickly. And you know, it takes a while to fall in love with someone and get to know them. So if somebody claims to be in love with you very, very quickly, maybe the second time that you guys are talking or emailing each other, another red flag. And these people are always living somewhere away. They're not anywhere near you or within your area. They're always in another country, somewhere far. So what are they going to ask you for? Because they always ask for something, right? They ask for plane tickets. They ask for surgery, medical expenses because their child has to go in for surgery, or their mother. Pay custom fees for retrieving something. A lot of them talk about gambling debt. But if I get rid of this gambling debt, I'll be able to come and see you. You know, there's so many things that they ask for, right? So always, always, always be aware of all these emergency situations, right? Because we are human beings. There are emergencies that happen. But we also have to realize that, you know, we're also transparent. So when there's an emergency, you call up that person or a friend and say, listen, something just happened. Can we reschedule? And then you move on. So what do they want payment-wise? Typically, you know, they want iPhones, they want iPads, they want you to wire money. But the big thing with scammers is they always want these gift cards. They want Amazon gift cards, they want Google Play, iTunes, whatever it is, they want these gift cards because they can go shopping with them afterwards. So what do you do to protect yourself? You know, I have a whole list here. You know, your senses should be raised, just like a spider. When a spider sees that there's danger, their hair sticks up at the back. Think about that. Think about your spidey senses. When a relationship progresses super quickly, don't give people your personal information. Don't give anybody your personal information. Never transfer money from your bank account too. If you are in a romance with somebody, why do you have to be the one to foot the bill? There's something wrong here. Never send money or gifts to a stranger that you never met in person. As children, we were always told not to talk to strangers, right? And this is the time to remember that. And this is the time to live that. We are in a world where, we're still in a pandemic. There are people that are still working from home, people still locked down in different countries. So if somebody contacts you to say how you're doing, what do they care if they're not your friend or your family? That's another red flag. The other thing too is there is no shame in talking to someone if you have been scammed, especially in a romance scam. You should actually talk to a friend or your, brother, sister, somebody close to you and say, listen, this is what's been happening with me. Is this right? Is it wrong? Because the best thing you need to do is share it with somebody. And once you share it with somebody, now you've protected them from becoming a victim of scam as well. And one of the key things that I found, which is really interesting, is once you've been scammed by somebody, they will come back and try to scam you again. And they did that with Linda. They went back to her and the guy said, I honestly really, really loved you. You have been my number one love. I know I was doing this for my job, but I really love you. And I'm hoping you can give me a second chance. And he asked her for money again. So they will always come back because if you gave money to them once, they're hoping you're going to give it back to them again. Email phishing scams as well. That's another big thing. I mean, we get so many emails for work. And then all of a sudden now our emails are being filled up because, you go shopping and you're paying for something in a store. And they said, well, we'd like to put you on our email list. What's your email address? And you say, this is what it is. So now you're getting a lot of emails from companies that you've purchased stuff from, companies that, are unsolicited, companies you've done nothing, you've never done shopping or purchased anything from them. And we're still distracted, right? Things are not back to normal. Things are just still strange. And all of a sudden now, one of the key things is we are being inundated with government emails as well. They're fake CERB emails and they're fake government emails to try to give you more money. They'll send you something and tell you to open an attachment. Well, why would you open an attachment from someone you don't know? Why would you click on a link from someone you don't know? If you don't know these people, just delete it. I always tell people, when it comes to emails, the phishing emails especially, stop, pause, think, delete. If it's important, if it's from a friend, it's an important email, they'll call you, or you'll get a letter or something. So if it's from an unknown, just delete it. So we're also getting a lot of emails. Fraudsters and scammers are assuming that everyone is on Netflix, assuming everyone shops with Amazon, assuming everyone is on PayPal. So a lot of emails that are coming in are saying, you know, your Netflix payment didn't go through, click here and put your credit card in to pay it. These are all, I mean, they're sending out millions of these emails, and a few people may have Netflix, a few people may have PayPal, and they're just trying it out. You know, red flags, a stranger contacts you. You get an email from somebody saying, hello, I am from so-and-so, and my husband passed away and he left me $5 million, and I can choose anybody that I'd like to be the beneficiary of the $5 million. I will give you 60%. I will keep 40% for myself, but you need to open up a bank account, and you need to give me all your personal information. Well, first of all, no one's going to give you money if they don't know who you are. Nothing happens for free in life, period. So those are red flags. Amazon, Walmart, Canadian Tire, you have been chosen to win a prize. And then on the bottom, it says, you know, you've been chosen to do a survey. Well, being chosen to win a prize and chosen to do a survey are two different things. That's not going to work. I know I have to keep going a little bit faster here. Let me go to the next one. This is an example of an email phishing scam. Good afternoon. Permit we talk, please. Well, I don't know who this person is. I don't know who Peter Edom is. And if you look at his name and you look at the email address, they are not the same person. Please permit I talk to you is urgent, is about Miss Anna, Mrs. Anna. Well, I don't know Mrs. Anna, and I don't know these people. So that's a delete. The one on the bottom, look at it, it says answer and win iPhone. So win a new iPhone. Why would somebody be giving you a new iPhone? And if you look at the email address, somebody from France sent that to me. I don't even know who that is. The other one on the top right is a text. Amazon, notice, due to an error in your last order, we'll pay you the extra fee. That doesn't even make sense. What was the error? What extra fee are we talking about? Text request for more details. No, delete, period. The other one too, which is really hard to see, this one says hotmail.com at hotmail.com. And you think, okay, maybe this is from Hotmail. And it says it's a server message. It basically says that your account has low security verification. I don't know what that means, but to somebody that is a senior or someone who's an immigrant that doesn't quite understand, you know, what message Hotmail is sending, it could look like a legitimate email. Just delete it. It means nothing other than if you click, you're going to become some sort of a victim because they're going to, you know, be able to steal all of your information, and maybe you'll download some sort of a worm or malware or something. So just delete it immediately. Also, dear winner, if you did not put your name in for a contest, if you did not buy a lottery ticket, you will never become a winner. You will never become a winner at random because your email was chosen or your phone number was chosen. But look at this. They want your full name. They want your telephone number. They want your mailing address. They want your driver's license number. Why do they want this? Because they want to steal your identity. They will have all your information, your driver's license number. They can go to a bank and take out a mortgage on your house, on somebody else's house, $100,000, whatever it is, and all of a sudden you're shocked. So all of these types of phishing scams are to steal your identity. This other phishing scam as well, right? These guys want to know my age, my sex, my nationality, my occupation, all my other information. But like this whole thing, can you be trusted in a financial business relationship that'll be of mutual benefit to both of us? Well, why should you be trusted with a complete stranger? Or why should a complete stranger ask for your trust? Trust is earned. Trust is earned through a relationship. So like there's so many different red flags. When you see anything, please provide me with the following, because I have 7 days to run it through. It's very urgent. Again, urgency when it comes to scams. This is urgent. Do it quickly and don't tell anyone. Trust me and tell me the information. So, did you notice a theme? What do they want to know? They want to know all your personal information. Now, John Meacher is a retired RCMP officer, and he and I have been on certain TV shows together talking about scams and frauds. And he brought this up on Twitter, which is really interesting. And he said, Twitter wants to know what my birthday is. And he said, if you add your birthday profile to Facebook, Twitter, whatever, that's information that scammers know, because now they know your name and they know your birthday. So it's easy for them to get more information about you. So be careful with your birthday. Now, here's some more examples. We're looking here at someone who says that they're Tim Hortons. So if you look at the scam on the left, look at the word open immediately. It's like nobody spells like that. If you look at the email address, it's Tim Horton with 2 I's, and then they use some font for Tim Horton, and it said, get your exclusive survey rewards. But on the right-hand side, in order to find out who is sending you this information, take your mouse and hover it over the from email. Don't click on it, just hover over it. And as you can see, it didn't come from Tim Hortons. It came from IGLIC, and I don't know where it came from, some engineering.com. So before you look at these things, before you click, stop, pause, think, hover your mouse over the from to see where it actually came from, and just delete it and report it as phishing. Shoppers Drug Mart. If you go on the internet, Shoppers Drug Mart has all of these on Google, basically warning people that these are the scam visuals that are being sent out, making it look like Shoppers Drug Mart, and it's not. And as you can see on the bottom, it says, Shoppers Drug Mart phishing email with subject confirm your gift. Confirm your gift? What are you confirming when you've never been given a gift? What's congratulations got to do with it? They're just it's all clickbait. They're asking you to click on everything. So how to recognize phishing attempts. Legitimate companies will never request your sensitive information via email. They all have it anyway, whether it's your bank, whether it's your investment firm, the government, they all have your information. So they're not going to ask for it through an email, through text, or anything else, or through the phone. So when anybody calls you, texts you, or emails you to ask for your bank account, your credit card number, whatever it is, your birthday, do not give it to them. Just hang up. Legitimate companies have a domain email. Hover your mouse over the from address. Legitimate companies know how to spell. Legitimate companies usually call you by name, right? Not dear account holder, dear Elizabeth. Legitimate companies do not force you to use their website. Legitimate companies do not send unsolicited attachments. Legitimate company links match legitimate URLs. This is all really important to understand and learn. This is new. This new Hitman thing is brand new, and it just came out, I think it was last week. And it came out through the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. And basically what's happening is it is a scam where you get a message delivered saying somebody has contracted me to kill you. and this is how much money they're offering me, but if you give me more money, I will cancel the contract. Of course, you're going to be terrified. Who wants to get something like that? So if you get a text or a phone call like that, or an email, delete the text, delete the phone call, or go into your local police department and show it to them and talk to them about it. Because now they're starting to get nastier than just, trying to scam you. Now they're starting to get to your livelihood. So phone scams. We talked about this earlier. I was talking about, or Cheryl, I can't remember who it was talking about the pretend CRA, there is an arrest warrant to arrest you. I wonder if this is going to work. It didn't work for me the last time, but I hope it does right now. No. So I'll do it afterwards. I have it set up afterwards. I recorded an actual fraudulent CRA call, basically saying that they're going to arrest me and they are going to, click one. No, hang up. The CRA in Canada will not arrest you. Now there's the new Canadian Border Services. There are 2 packages that are suspicious and we're holding on to them and we're going to arrest you unless you call us. They keep using the word arrest because a lot of immigrants come from countries that will actually arrest you for something like that. They don't do that here in Canada. So if you get that CRA phone scam, if you get the Canadian Border Services phone scam, hang up. Do not press anything. The RCMP is not coming to arrest you. The other thing too is they talk about your social security number has been compromised, or your social security number has been, what do they say? Expired. Well, in Canada, we have a social insurance number and it doesn't expire. Hang up again. The grandparent scam is really interesting because they talk about the fact that they'll call you up in the middle of the night if they know you're a senior and say, oh my gosh, I'm calling you right now. Your grandchild was in a bad accident. They can't speak because their nose is broken and their mouth has been wired. They need $5,000 for surgery. And of course, if you're a grandparent, you're going to panic and say, oh my gosh, I need to save my grandchild. One of the key things you need to do is ask a question that only your grandchild would know. So ask a question about the family pet or something to see whether the scammers can answer that question, and never say out, oh my gosh, Jimmy, is Jimmy okay? Don't say the grandchild's name. Seniors and passwords. I think this is really important because passwords can't be simple. A lot of people use 1, 2, 3, 4, or they use the word password as their password. Use a line from your favorite book or from a movie. So what I mean by that is, for example, be on high alert so you don't get scammed. Create your own acronym and add a few numbers and an exclamation mark. So this acronym is only for you and you only, so that it doesn't get broken into and people, steal your contacts from your email account. Protect yourself with questions. A lot of seniors now are being targeted with direct messages on Facebook, and these scammers are pretending to be their friend, asking for surgery money or whatever. If you do get any type of these DMs, they're called direct messages, call your friend and say, hey, did you contact me? Do you need something right now? Never respond to these direct messages. And as you can see on the right-hand side, these are direct messages that people have been sending me on Twitter. Like, why do I care that Spencer sent me a good morning? Like, who's Spencer? Who cares, right? So be diligent. When people send you something like that, just delete. And if it's important, call the person directly. Important here, if you become a victim of fraud, what do? Do not be ashamed. There is no shame in becoming a victim of fraud, and do not stay silent. Contact your banking institution and let them know what happened, and maybe, just maybe, they can stop the wire transfer or the e-transfer, right? Call your local police department and tell them exactly what has happened, and then contact the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. The number is there, the email is there. And what I think everyone should do is go to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center website. They have so many red flags and examples for people. You know, they've got examples from A to Z when it comes to scams and fraud. Go look at it, familiarize yourself with it, and be aware, as I said, fraudsters will always come back. And always tell a friend, because if you tell one friend, you will protect them. And a reminder, never share your personal information, financial details. Everyone that needs to know your financial information knows it. Do not put your birthday out there. Don't talk to strangers. Just keep your tight friends around and answer questions with them. CRA, blood service, or Canadian Border Services or CRA will never arrest you. And always, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. If it sounds too complicated, walk away. If they are giving you, you know, high investment returns, walk away. There's so many different things to walk away from. And when you're not sure, go and ask a professional or speak to a friend and do your due diligence and do your research. And this is it, 5 practical ways to make yourself cyber safe. And this is from the Canadian government's website. All stuff that we talked about. And that's it for me. One other thing I wanted to say, I watched this show this morning. It was CBC Marketplace, and they talked about scammers. And one of the things they talked about was a lot of these scamming call centers are located in Mumbai. And he was saying that there's about 6 to 7 call centers in Mumbai, and they make about $80,000 per day off of scamming people. And the guy at CBC Marketplace asked this individual, if you wanted to start your own scam call center, what do you need? And he said, I need 5 computers, 1 server, 5 people to work for me, and a script. And he said, I can buy a phone number anywhere, and it costs 2 rupees per phone number. So it's very easy for them to get phone numbers and concentrate on us. And that's all I've got for today.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. That provides a lot of clarity on financial literacy and scamming for myself. And I really hope that the audience has received it well. And we will now be moving on to our brief Q&A session. And if you have any questions and are on YouTube Live, you can put it in the chat there. And we did receive a couple of questions beforehand, so I'm just going to ask them now. So the first question we have is, new ways of scamming are coming up every day. How can we stay up to date on the latest scam methods so that we are aware and protected?
So go to the Canadian Fraud Center, Canadian Anti-Fraud Center website. They are up to speed on everything. And if you're looking for up-to-date investment scams, go to the IROC, Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada, and the Ontario Securities Commission. They were all in my PowerPoint presentation. Go to those websites. They're constantly updating them. But the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center is really, really good because they have, they're run by the RCMP. And so they are up to date on every scam that's happening on a regular basis.
All right, that's amazing. And the second question that we have is that if I'm scammed and had a financial loss, is there a legal way to recover the amount I lost?
That is a really good question. And I think it all depends. I think it depends on whether it's with your credit card. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, that if you get scammed on your credit card, that you will recoup it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your credit card was stolen or compromised. However, if you are scammed and you wire, $10,000 to your scammer, they're probably in Nigeria. They're probably in Mumbai. They could be in the United States. They could be somewhere in Canada as well. But if you look at the big picture, they are overseas. And with the jurisdictions, you will never get your money back. And I don't know if you guys remember, a few months ago, an 80-year-old woman in Brampton was scammed, I think $10,000, and it was by 3 young kids that lived around the corner. Now, they caught the scammers because they lived around the corner and she got her money back. That was an easier one. but usually these scams are done through numerous call centers and they're worldwide. So the opportunity of you to get your money back is slim and nil.
Oh, wow. There are so many things like you said in your slides that like I would have never even thought of, or like I'm pretty sure the audience would never think they would be scammed, or some of them look so legit. So
They do. And you know what, Cheryl? They do. And the thing is, we all have to be in the mindset that I could be scammed today. We're all smart. We all have jobs, or we've all retired from jobs, or we're all in school looking for that job. So we are all really good at whatever profession we've decided to take on, or whatever school you're in for your next profession, or whatever profession you retired from. But the key is, it doesn't matter how smart you are. We're all smart.
Mhm.
The key is, how distracted are you? And how distracted are you right now, today, if you get a phone call or if you get an email? That's the only difference, because it doesn't matter. Smart doesn't work here. You're not getting grades. You're getting scammed.
Yeah, and everything you've said today, like even if it doesn't happen to you personally, it could happen to anybody near you, and it's just so beneficial and time relevant. So that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much. And for providing.
Cheryl, can I just, I saw this really good show today, and I think it's really important for everyone to see it. It's CBC Marketplace, and they talk about this poor guy who got scammed. And I think it's a really good video for everyone to see. So if I could send it to you guys and you can share it, that's the next layer. It's a 30-minute video. So it's the next layer for people to protect themselves.
Yeah, we'll be sending out a thank you blurb, and we will definitely put that in there. And
Great.
Again, thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for being with us on this Saturday morning and explaining to everybody about financial literacy and scams. Do watch her videos on YouTube. You can find it under Finances Personal. And I would also like to thank the Government of Canada for funding our event. Last but not the least, thank you to everyone who has come out today. And we hope you've greatly benefited from the information Elizabeth has presented today. And I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I had a great time. Thank you, everyone.